Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Ankerstar, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Morning Show. Today, we're going to talk about why the market is celebrating an 8.5% inflation number that we got this morning. And, we're just after the market open here. The futures were in the green right after the number release, and now we're well into the green during the actual market trading day. So we're going to talk about that and the implications of, are we past peak inflation? Are we past peak rate hikes? So we'll talk about the next rate hike that's due in September. And finally, we'll close today with Roblox's earnings from last night and talk about how that's affecting the stock and what sort of potential that stock has. But before we begin, as a reminder, this is a financial education presentation and should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. All right, let's take a look at where the markets are right now. Last time I checked, NASDAQ was 2% in the green. So let's toggle over here. 2.5%. Have the S&P up 2%, and the Dow's up a little over 1.5%. So market's really celebrating this. You can see the tagline there, investors cheer a lighter than expected inflation report. Well, I talked yesterday about what I expected and what I thought the market needed to scream higher. I was thinking a number down in the 5% range would be what would be necessary to say, okay, we're past peak inflation. But here's how close we're hanging on to the actual number is the number that came in this morning here, just right at the top, is 8.5% versus an 8.7% expected. Yeah. And that's fantastic news. Market screams higher. I can't even imagine the insanity that would be going on right now. If this is the move, we get off a 0.2% beat. What if we would have gotten, a 3 or 4% beat? Goodness gracious, it's been insane today. But I think why it's being celebrated so much is it does show that we finally beaten inflation. So it's not over, but going to be on the way down. And that's what the market's celebrating today. And it's really twofold because you have, first of all, the inflation part. And, the inflation number is still ugly. It's just ugly, ugly, ugly. Everybody knows that. The food has moved up. Everything has moved up across the board by now. And, the full employment situation, which obviously that's a great thing to be at full employment. But also there's some challenges there, right? Because folks can't find workers, or you just need to pay your workers more. That's just a fact. If they have to pay more to live, you need to pay them more for them to work for you. Otherwise, they're going to leave. So that is all sorting itself out. But certainly this gives us the idea or the impression that we could be on our way back down. So maybe, this was July's number was 8.5%. Maybe in August we can break below 8. August. Yeah, in August we can break below 8. And then on September, as we close in on the elections, maybe we're trending back towards something normal, normal being down around 3% or even 2%. So kind of crazy there, but that's only half the story. The other half is, what does this mean for the Fed? That we've done back-to-back 75 basis point hikes. That's historic, or recently historic, if you will. We haven't done that in a while. And again, all to beat inflation. Well, if we've beat inflation, what do we need to do going forward? So when you hear people talk about peak inflation, meaning we're on the way down, and peak Fed rate hike, it means that we're done with the 75 basis point hikes, right? And I do think that's the case. So I think that, that there's somewhere in this article, it says that there's 100% chance of a 50 basis point rate hike. So what does that mean? Just like inflation, it's on its way down, but it's still a problem. The Fed, we're still going to do rate hikes. We're just not going to have to go to the level of a 75 basis point rate hike again. We'll see if that's true. These things will travel together, but certainly that's got the markets excited that that's the case. But remember, the next one is early September, so we aren't going to know for a few weeks. So I think today will be a nice green day. I do think that holds, and then we'll kind of have to, let other news stories take over the market for a while until, a month from now when we get that next inflation print and kind of go from there. And that's also coincides with the Fed move at around that same time. All right, let's talk about Roblox earnings. Now, here's a company that has just it's a house of pain. It really is a house of pain. It's a great company. When you think of, they've got everything to win. They have amazing software. They have their own metaverse that mostly kids live in. They have folks making six figures inside of Roblox from the stuff that they've built. So it is really kind of the metaverse story that if you believe in the metaverse and you think that, not all of us maybe, but a large portion of folks are going to live multiple lives online within these, alternate universes, universi, if that's a word. I don't know if this is going to take off, but it's certainly, you have to admit it's a thing. And, so the main company behind it here being Roblox and their company, they are positioned to kill it in the space. And they missed earnings. They missed both top line and bottom line. They said COVID hurt them. Kind of have to give the whale eye, right? The big whale eye to that, okay, well, COVID's kind of not really the top theme right now, right? So are you still hanging on to 2 years ago's excuses? But it's like, okay, COVID hurts you where we all got locked in our houses and couldn't leave, and it hurts a software company where people log in from their bedroom. I don't know. I don't kind of buy their story there. I think it seems like an excuse to me. I don't know. They're the experts. I'm just an outsider looking in, but it's not going to get my money. Even though everything about it is good, right? And I do have it in the book. I have some clients that believe, and I'm saying to those clients and other folks is there's a ton of risk here. I do believe in the metaverse. I believe that both Facebook, Meta, if you will, and Roblox are totally set up for success. And I do buy that, that when you hear I think it was the CFO this morning on the conference call said earnings yesterday, stock dropped 12%. It's kind of chilled out from that, where it's down only 6% now. But the CFO was saying we're heavily investing in the future. And I'm like, okay, I get that. Amazon, I missed out on the early move in Amazon because, they were unprofitable for 19 years, right? Well, I mean, man, you got to have faith. Return on investment, negative 91%. So that's like you give me $100 back and boom, I now turned that into $9. Whew, that's a little tough. Debt to equity, 176%. And people are like, if you look at this from a pragmatic perspective, you would not touch this thing, right? Because it is, holy cow, they are lighting money on fire. You'd have to be actually like good at lighting money on fire. Like you couldn't even just be your average company that just burns money. You'd have to be trying. But the other side of the fence will tell you that's how you make money. And that's how you become great is you simply growth at all costs. And I buy that and I see that too. So I don't know. I would love to think Roblox would make it, that they would at some point be able to stop their spending and become profitable and live happily ever after. And the stock screams higher. I just don't know if it'll happen. And I certainly don't know when. And, largely timing is a big issue with investing. And, it was at 75 last year, peaked up here at 125, and then took I don't know, you do the math, 80% haircut down to 27 or so. It did give a high five to 50 this week. So it kind of doubled from its low in the past, month and a half. So it's kind of, I think, settling in after that big run up. So when you really look at it, if you happen to have the foresight to buy it at 24.69, you did take a double in Roblox in the past month and a half, a straight double. But yeah, then you get an earnings report like that, and it's hard to tell where the thing's going. So if you like it and you believe in it, buy some. I think, if you believe in it, you would certainly buy more here. Otherwise, let's just wait. And, I can see folks like Steve, so you're going to like it when it's back up at 75 or 100. I'm like, well, I want to see a little more, I want another quarter. I just do. To see if ad revenue takes off. I mean, I think it's all there, but I would want to wait and see instead of take the gamble, if you will. All right. So that's all we have for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. Please continue to submit your questions and the comments through social media or directly to our email. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's all we have for today's show, and we will see you back tomorrow. Bye.